Uruguayan cuisine is traditionally surrounded by international cuisine and is traditionally based on indigenous Charruan influence. The European roots, in particular, Mediterranean food from Spain, Italy and Portugal and continental food from France. Other trackable sources may result surprising from a part of immigration of another remote places. Notable examples are influences from countries such as Germany and Britain. Many foods from those countries such as pasta, sausages, and desserts are common in the nation's diet. Overview. The base of the country's diet is meat and animal derivatives, mostly proceeding from cattle but also chicken, lamb, pig and sometimes fish. Backwards from expected mestas in Uruguayan gastronomy came from immigration and not with Amerindians because new colonies hadn't trusted the natives. So prime materials were, if not needed, the same from the origin. The preferred cooking methods for meats and vegetables are still boiling and roasting, but modernization also came with frying. Meanwhile, wheat and fruit comes mostly fried, comforted and sometimes baked, a new style from modern times. Although Uruguay has exuberant flora and fauna, only exception of yerba mate, the rest of it is mostly still unexploded. Consumption of fresh fruit is rare and commonly not from local ones. Uruguayan food always comes with fresh bread. Bizcocos and tortas fritas are must-have for mate drinking. The national drink is an infusion called mate. The dried leaves and twigs of the yerba mate plant are placed in a small cup. Hot water is then poured into the gourd at near boiling point so as to not burn the herb and spoil the flavor. The drink is sipped through a metal or cane straw, known as a bombilla. Wine is also a common drink. Other spirits consumed in Uruguay are cana, grappa con limon, and grappa amil. Grappa amil is very popular in rural areas and is often consumed in the cold mornings of autumn and winter to warm up the body. Regional fruits as butia and pitanga are commonly used for flavoring cana among with quinotos and nísperos. Bushmeat comes from mulatas and carpinchos, and popular sweets are quince jam and dulce de leche. Uruguayan barbecue, asado, is one of the most exquisite and famous in the world. A sweet paste, dulce de leche, is used to fill cookies, cakes, pancakes, milhojas, and alfajores. The alfajores are shortbread cookies sandwiched together with dulce de leche or a fruit paste. Dulce de leche is used also in flan con dulce de leche. Spanish influences are very abundant. Desserts like churros, flan, enzaimadas, and alfajores are all descended from Spain. There are also all kinds of stews known as guisos or estofados, arroces, and fabada. All of the guisos and pucheros are of Spanish origin. Uruguayan preparations of fish, such as dried salt cod, calamari, and octopus, originate from the Basque and Galician regions, and also Portugal. Germanic influence has impacted Uruguayan food as well, particularly sweet dishes. The pastries known as bizcocos are Germanic in origin. Croissants, known as medialunas, are the most popular of these, and can be found in two varieties, butter and lard-based. Also German in origin of the berlinese known as bolus de frailer, and the rolls called piononos. The facturas were rechristened with local names given the difficult phonology of German, and usually Uruguayanized by the addition of a dulce de leche filling. In addition, dishes like chucrut have also made it into mainstream Uruguayan cuisine. Due to its strong Italian tradition, in Uruguay all of the famous Italian pasta dishes are present. Ravioli, spaghetti, lasagna, tortellini, fettuccine, cannelloni, fusilli, agnolotti, tagliatelle, capellini, vermicelli, penne rigate, fagioloni, celentani, rotini, bucatini, farfalle, and a traditional gnocchi. Although the pasta can be served with a lot of sauces, there is one special sauce that was created by Uruguayans. Caruso sauce is a pasta sauce made from double cream, meat extract, onions, ham and mushrooms. It is very popular with sorrentinos and agnolotti. Common dishes: asado, both the tradition of grilling beef over coals, and a dish, tirada asado, chavito, a sandwich containing steak, ham, cheese, tomato, lettuce, and mayonnaise. Coropan, a very popular Uruguayan fast food, a grilled chorizo and a crusty bread such as a baguette, usually served with chimichurri sauce. Empanada, a small pie turnover, most commonly filled with meat, such as ham and cheese. Empanada gallega, a fish pie, with sauce, onions and bell peppers. Brought by immigrants from Galicia. Faina, a mix of chickpea flour, salt, water and olive oil, originally called farinata, cooked like a pizza on a flat tray. Brought by immigrants from Liguria. Pancho, a typical Uruguayan hot dog, a bun called pan de Vienna filled with a hot dog, with mustard, ketchup, mayonnaise or salsa golf on top. Gnocchi is traditionally eaten on the 29th day of each month. This was the day before payday, when people were at the poorest. Gnocchi made a cheap and hearty meal. On these occasions, some people leave a coin or a banknote under the plate to attract prosperity. Hungera, very similar to the Frankfurter, but very spicy. Milanesa, a thin breaded cutlet steak. There is a great variety, such as Milanese Napolitana, Milanese Relena, and Suprema Maryland. Layman, an Armenian dish, brought by Armenian immigrants. Pascalina, a Swiss chard pie, puff pastry crust on bottom and top, filled with seasoned Swiss chard and eggs. Pascalina is a reference to Pasqua, pastel de carne, in English meat pie. Chopped meat, mashed potato, green peppers, olives, and eggs. Russian salad, potatoes, carrots, peas and mayonnaise. Pizza has been wholly subsumed and in its Uruguayan form more closely resembles an Italian calzone than it does its Italian ancestor. Typical Uruguayan pizzas include pizza rellena, pizza pormetro, and pizza alla parrilla. While Uruguayan pizza derives from Neapolitan cuisine, the Uruguayan fugazza comes from the focaccia's anise. But in any case its preparation is different from its Italian counterpart, and the addition of cheese to make the dish is an Uruguayan invention. However, pastas are more popular than pizza. Among them are tallarines, ravioles, gnocchis, and canelones. They are usually cooked, served, and consumed in Uruguayan fashion, called al uso nostro, a phrase of Italian origin. Sliced pizza served over faina is a common combination. For example, it is common for pasta to be eaten together with white bread, which is unusual in Italy. This can be explained by the low cost of bread and that Uruguayan pasta tends to come together with a large amount of tuco sauce, and accompanied by estofado. Less commonly, pastas are eaten with a sauce of pesto, a green sauce based on basil, or salsa blanca. During the 20th century, people in pizzerias in Montevideo commonly ordered a combo of Moscato, pizza and faina, which is a large glass of a sweet wine called Moscato, plus 2 stacked pieces. Despite both pizza and faina being Italian in origin, they are never served together in that country. Polenta comes from northern Italy and is very common throughout Uruguay. Unlike Italy, this cornmeal is eaten as a main dish, with sauce and melted cheese. History. The current roots of Uruguayan cuisine can be traced back to subsistence economy adopted by gauchos and sustained on subsistence agriculture, implanted by Spanishes and Criollos at the start of European colonization. The native peoples did not stay in one place, since Uruguay was just as a remote port is with few incursions for treasure hunting. The only permanent establishment at the time was constituted by Franciscan monks that located at a territory now belonging to Brazil called missions, because the mission there was to Christianize such natives. Tradition of mate started at the time with that monks that brewed that beverage with the leaves of yerba mate that Guarani people used to chew. Cattle was later introduced by Hernandarias. The first group of immigrants came from poor families of Buenos Aires and the Canary Islands along with their empanadas and cocidos. Everything was sold from pulperias that were stores and saloons at the same time. The asado tradition came with gauchos that lived in the country, descendants of that first families that having no land nor home made cattle raiding the way of life. Asado meat cuts were considered excedents from cattle. Portuguese and Brazilian influence was also added during Portuguese colonization. Feijoada was incorporated into the rest of the guisos. Food was rudimentary and based on Spanish tradition until immigration at the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century, when the first families came mostly from Italy and Spain. Immigration increased following World War I and World War II, when people from all over Europe and Middle East came to Uruguay, including people from Germany, Russia, Italy, and Armenia. Such immigration enriched the importation of dishes, as there is now pasta, ensalada rusa and innumerable types of pastry from France and Germany, resulting in chaja and alfajores. Butter was not widely used until the 1950s. Common fat substance proceeded from cattle and not from milk. Its introduction at the time resulted on more refined productions. Uruguayan cuisine suffered a lot of changes across the ages, and it is still happening. Contumacy of food is being replaced for less caloric versions as times keep changing on a more dynamic society with less caloric needings. Exportation of meat is making asado less accessible, and government seems to have none interest on protection, nor even the price of yerba that is climbing up. On everyday food, milaneses are being replaced for panchos, croquetas are being replaced for pizza, and guiso de lentejas is becoming more common than puchero or feijoada. Aperitifs, entrees and picadas. Among Uruguayan cuisine there is a significant list of preparations and dishes that are included on this category. The most typical or autochthonous is the picada, probably descending from the Spanish's tapas. And on everyday food there are also matambre relleno and lengua a la vinagreta. Aperitifs. As said on the main overview, grappa and canna are still consumed on the country. Though grappa it is considered an aperitif of excellence into its main country. Aperitifs such as martini, vermouth, whiskey, medio y medio and also uvita, sangria and wine are preferred. Though liquors made with canna have good digestive qualities, they are only consumed as drink and not as aperitifs. Medio y medio. It is a special blend made of dry wine and sparkling wine, or sparkling wine and canna. It is manufactured by Bodega Roldos. Uvita also made by Bodega Roldos under a secret recipe of ingredients. It is a fortified wine that resembles marsala. Entrees. Picada. Picada can be described as the main entree of a typical asado consumed within aperitifs. It is constituted by cheese, olives, longaniza, salami, chips and salted peanuts, all of it except for peanuts, served on a wood table with bread. Matambre relleno. Matambre relleno is a common dish in Rio de la Plata, so much in Uruguay as in Argentina. It is one of two dishes that are prepared from matambre, a meat cut that is a flank steak. It is prepared as a lunch meat by rolling thin slices over spinach, carrots and boiled eggs, rarely a criollo's version of a joint, tied up and sewed with a strong string, boiled and later pressed. It is consumed when cold. Lengua alla vinagreta. Lengua alla vinagreta is a cold preparation of beef tongue that is previously peeled and boiled and aligned with a vinagreta sauce made with chopped boiled eggs, parsley, garlic, onions, olive oil, and vinegar. Pescado and escabeche. Escabeche is a preserved method common in Spain and Spanish-speaking countries. It consists on a mix of oil and vinegar that is used as a marination that also preserves the food. Pescado and escabeche is a cold dish often made from Argentine hake that is buttered as in pescado a la marinera, after being separately fried as shortly boiled on a vinaigrette made of oil and vinegar that is added with sliced onions and carrots and whole garlics and black pepper. Side dishes. Cuisine of Uruguay have not had much inventive but salads over this step. As previously said, food is eaten with bread and sometimes rice or chips. Along with asado, there are accompaniments as said chorizo, morcilla, offals, and also stuffed peppers and papas al plomo. Sauces. From asado to pasta, Uruguayan cuisine offers a widely variant of sauces, most remarkable are chimichurri, salsa criolla and salsa caruso, picantina, spicy sauce commonly added to frankfurters, hungaries, curry panes and hamburgers. It is common to find on fast food dispensaries located at the streets and locally called as carritos. It resembles a hot mustard or mayonnaise. Mojo. Sharing the same name as the Spanish mojo, it's as simply as a sauce made with garlic, oil, parsley, oregano, paprika, water and salt. It is added to asado during its cooking process and optionally on the dish. Mojo differs in chimichurri over that it has water besides vinegar and less paprika. Chimichurri. Chimichurri is between a vinaigrette and a pesto variant, made with chopped garlic, oregano, paprika, oil, vinegar and salt. Along with salsa criolla, it is the preferred for asado. Salsa criolla made with finely chopped tomatoes and onions, oil and salt. Salsa criolla is used for garment of asado, coropan and sometimes panchos. Salsa golf invented in Argentina but also consumed in Uruguay. It is blend from mayonnaise and ketchup. Mostaza La Pasiva. La Pasiva is a famous chain of restaurants in Uruguay, dedicated at fast food serving a minutas as is called on the region. The speciality are panchos and hungaras and also renowned by the chivito. Mustard. La Pasiva is a white-collared hot mustard served on the local along with panchos. It's made with beer, starched mustard grains, pepper, salt and vinegar, though it has never been sold apart as a commercial mustard brand. It is sometimes given in small quantities as a present for the client and is seen before its recipe is not totally a secret. Mostaza La Pasiva is also used among other mustards as sauce for puchero meat. Salsa caruso, estofado and tuco. All of the three are necessary pasta sauces among with other foreign pasta sauces. Salsa caruso was made specially for the opera singer Enrico Caruso at a time that he visited Uruguay and became a popular sauce. Estofado is a stewed version of ragu made from steaks and sometimes single-eaten. Tuco, when it has chopped meat, resembles a bolognese sauce. Barbecue and salads. Salads. Uruguayan cuisine has adopted, if not blended, a considerable amount of salads. The most typical of it is the ensalada criolla. Ensalada criolla with slight variants. It is a common denomination for a family of salads that are widespread over the southern South Cone region. Most variants, as in the Chilean salad, always include onion and lettuce. The variant consumed on Uruguay contains tomato along with lettuce and onions, served with a single vinaigrette made of oil, vinegar, salt, garlic and oregano. As it is a basic form of salad, it is idonious accompaniment for asado. Ensalada rusa. More similar to the Polish sałatka jarzynowata than the typical Olivier salad. It contains potatoes, carrots, and peas with mayonnaise. Ensalada de papa y huevo, potato and egg salad, or onion and potato salad, or simply potato, mayonnaise and parsley. Ropa vieja, resembling an old Spanish salpicon. Ropa vieja intends to include everything that exceeds from asado, mainly the best meat cuts chopped with vegetables such as potatoes or ensalada criolla, not to be confused with the Cuban ropa vieja, that though it is also a derivative dish but resembles more a sancocho than a salad. Salpicón de Avenue. Another derivative salpicón, chicken salpicón, is made with chicken, eggs, and potatoes. Palmitos con salsa golf, simply heart of palm, sometimes rolled in ham slices and served with salsa golf. Watercress salad. Basically watercress, olive oil and lemon juice. Asado, as in English barbecue, asado is called both the tradition of making the meal and the meal itself, and also the meal and meat cut called asado a tierra, asado. In most homes of Uruguayan people it's common to find a special grill on the patios called asador, that is a structure made of iron and bricks. Wondering in dimensions, more asadors have at least 2 meters for 1 meter, and they are constituted by a chimney, a small bonfire of iron where to place firewood, and a large grill where it goes the meat and where, under it, are placed the embers produced by the firewood. Also, there are common to find, mostly on the street, small barbecue grills called medio tank because they are made on adaptation of split and steel drums. Asado cooked this way is sold often on the street. The person who make the meal is called also asador. Asado is often preceded by aperitifs such as vermouth, uvita, and medio y medio, an entree called picada, and some chorizos, morcillas, and some offals that done first. Ingredients of a complete Uruguayan asado include chorizo, morcilla, pulpon, entrana, tira de asado, cow gizzards, chinchulines, chotos, and kidneys. Poultry may also be included. Sometimes, especially on festive days, pork, fish, and lamb are consumed as substitute for cow meat, conforming a dish variant. Preparation. A typical asado takes from 1 hour to 2 hours to be done, and even more if a different kind of meat is going to be barbecued. Further from that, the process is pretty simple. The asador starts the fire in the burner, and once that the fire is started, meat is salted and condimented. Condiments may include oregano, garlic, paprika, parsley, and mojo. Then later first embers are put in place, and this is going to be repeated as they keep falling from the burner, and then meat is put on the grill, while slowly cooked and smoked on the asador. The rest of the operation is limited just to eat picada and wait, and sporadically add mojo, and of course control the fire. When all the meat is ready, then it is served sided by bread and salads, and served with condiments such as mojo, chimichurri, and Uruguayan salsa criolla, and beverages such as wine, clerico, and sangria. Variants. Asado con Querer. Though asado barbecue also can be made of other meats than cow, there is still another variant that mainly from cow meat results peculiar. Its name is Asado Con Querer. It is a favorite on rural sides but also very appreciated on the capital. Its main essence resides on a different and more complex technique than that employed for making asado, and is it that the entire cattle is barbecued at once and even with its leather, though bones are taken apart. The origin of this practice is remote to Pampa people that omitted the cutting of the cattle and retirement the leather, but at the same time discarded the bones. They did this because on this way resulted them easier to just roll all the meat and run without leaving the food in the act. Beverages. Typical Uruguayan beverages are made canna, uvita, grappa a meal and medio y medio. Grappa was implanted by Italian immigrants as they kept coming at the mediation of SXIX. Then grappa a meal and grappa con limon were made in the country from this Italian influence. Uvita taste for wine also is acquired from Mediterranean influence, also sangria and clerico. Uvita is a fortified wine resembling Marsala wine. Medio y medio, literally meaning half and half, is a drink blend both of parts of canna and sparkling wine and dry wine and sparkling wine. It is sold and fabricated under the trademark Roldos. Mate is consumed every time and on every occasion, solely, with tortas fritas or bizcochos. It is so important that the act of drinking mate performs a ritual of friendship between those involved. Even carrying thermos of hot water facilitates that this practice be done on every place. Though hot days of summer, it's still said to be refreshing. Uruguay is the first global consumer of mate, with a consume of 6.8 kilograms of yerba mate per capita at year, passing Argentina for 1.2 kilograms per capita at year. Yerba mate also is consumed as mate cocido. When is prepared with milk it's named mate de leche, and when it is added with milk it's called mate con leche. Grappa con limon. Grappa is sold under various trademarks, but the most significant one is San Remo. It is distilled and bottled by NCAP, and there was also a try of rescuing its original Italian form by some local sellers. When macerated with lemon it's called grappa con limon. Canna is an amber-colored distilled similar to aguardiente made from sugarcane mill. Its caramel color, it's due aging in barrels. It is distilled and bottled under the brand de Los 33. Grappa meal canna, as much as grappa, are used to be widely infusioned with herbs and fruits, resulting in known traditional combinations such as grappa a miel, grappa con limon, canna con pitanga, canna con butia, and so on. There is a popular bar on Montevideo called Los Uyos that is famous for serving this varieties.